hit his head. Plus, now that we've had the food and the wine, it's time for us to get ready and power up. I'm Lee Tucker, chair of the Cleveland chapter of the League of Women Voters of Greater Cleveland. Thank you for coming out. We are glad you're here with us to hear the Honorable Nina Turner and to find out more about the league and whether it's the right fit for you. It's certainly a time of renewed activism and a desire to be part of the public process. It's also a time when various organizations will be reaching out to you to offer you the chance to make an impact and have a voice. Well, the League of Women Voters has been doing just that for approximately 100 years. They have been offering women and men alike the chance to make an impact and have a voice. The League provides various services including advocacy, registering voters, education, and taking stands on public policies and issues that affect us all. But we don't take stands on or support specific candidates because we're a nonpartisan organization. Because we're a nonpartisan organization and the work that we've done over the past 100 years, we are trusted, listened to, and called upon for advice and opinions by our public officials. That's what makes us stand out, and that's what gives us our clout. We hope that you will want to join us, the League, the Cleveland chapter of the League, and it's an exciting time to join the Cleveland chapter. The chapter is ready to be revitalized and reshaped with new energy, which includes all of you members. With that being said, we still have the strong support of the Greater Cleveland League backing, and it gives us structure. We're excited by the possibilities. Later this evening, we'll give you the opportunity to join us and to sign up for some of our projects and our e-newsletter. For now, our co-president, Marsha Goldberg, will introduce our speaker and tell you a little bit more about the league. Thank you.
Hi, thanks for coming tonight. I am one of the two co-presidents of the Greater Cleveland League, and Susan is right here. There's my co-president. So I'm an East Sider from Shaker Heights, and Susan lives in Bay, and we get together all the time. We get along just fine. We cross the river. So Lee covered some of our history. I wanted to just let you know, and you see our mission right here. We are very anxious about protecting the right to vote for everyone in the country. We don't like restrictions on voting. Everyone should have the right to vote. Every citizen should have the right to vote. We want to educate voters about the decisions they need to make at the polls. Vote411.org. If you have an issue or candidates, and there's only one piece of Cuyahoga County with a candidates running in May, in a week from tomorrow, and that's Westlake's Ward 1. And even our Westlake resident does not live in Ward 1, so she's not voting. But you may have a school issue or a tax issue, and you can go to vote411.org. Put in your address and find out what that issue is and decide how you want to vote. And we try to encourage everyone's active participation in government. You know, you've got something that you care about, get out there and make some noise. This fall we have local elections all over the county. So you'll be electing your mayor, you'll be electing your council people. Learn who they are, learn what they think. Decide how you want to vote. Don't just sit back and vote for the Irish name or the Jewish name or whatever it is. So our next, also I wanted I've already talked about that. Now my next big pleasure is to introduce Senator Nina Turner. I'm just going to call her Nina because I think of her as my friend. Nina spoke at the Shaker Heights when we were in different leagues across the county. Nina spoke at our annual meeting, and I was telling her before we got together here that the ripples of her energy from that meeting 6 years ago are still traveling throughout Shaker Heights. She is such an exciting speaker. Now, Nina is not running for anything now. She is a big league supporter, a very supporter of our issues, our progressive issues, and she is. I want to just make sure I get this correctly. She started off Cleveland City Council, moved on to the state senate where she represented my section of the county, and she is a big supporter of labor, women's reproductive health, voting rights, income inequality. She named, I'm going to go through what the honors you received. The Nation magazine, not all. In 2011, they named her the most valuable state senator. The Root, which listed her as one of the top 100 most influential African Americans in the United States in 2014. And Cleveland's Inside Business magazine listed her as one of the top 25 most powerful people in Northeast Ohio for 2015. Currently, she is a political contributor to CNN, and in the fall, in the spring, she will be starting her own online web-based show on the Real News Network. I remembered it. So I would love to introduce Nina. We'll talk about who will just have you shaking in your boots in a few minutes.
Just adore Marsha and Gil, and she did such a great job. You know, I always say that people are never as good as their resumes anyway. So or their bios.
Whoa, that's scary.
Do we need this stuff?
Not if you're.
Yeah, I would rather I just project. Is that okay?
You don't need
And
it.
so, because I like to be really close to people. So I want to thank Lee and to Susan. But Lee is the chair, to Susan, to Marsha, to everybody that's here this evening. You could have been anywhere this evening, but you're here with the League of Women Voters. And I meant to bring, I just left the college, I was telling Lee, I just flew in from DC. I travel all over the country for progressive causes, and ever since, you know, I've been a national figure for quite some time now, but it's just been building, especially since I supported Senator Bernie Sanders. And as Marsha pointed out, the league does not endorse any candidate, so I am just telling my story. My national profile has just went through the roof, and I travel all over the country. Progressives call on me all over the country to come and speak at events like this, or to get people all riled up, or to help them, you know, to help them remember that ultimately they have the power, and that is really what I pride myself in. So I count it an honor and all joy. And it's nice to be home, to be in my own backyard. But yes, I just got off the plane this morning from DC, went straight to the college because I just play a politician on TV. I am really a college professor. Okay? That is what I do. And the league will remember, some of the more seasoned members of the league will remember this publication that I meant to bring with me, but I still use it in my African American history classes to this day. It's a little trifold pamphlet that the league created about the history of the African American vote. Does anybody remember that pamphlet? It is a beautiful thing, and I still copy that and I use it for my African American history classes to this day. I would love for the league to update it. I don't know if the local league did it or the national league did it, but
I have this story and send it to me and I'll work on that.
okay,
That's my project.
I'll scan it and email it to you.
Thank you.
But it is a tremendous document that really breaks down the youth vote, the African American vote, and it talks about the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment to the Constitution. And it really is an easy read, which makes it so powerful in the classroom. So I'm kicking myself. I put it on my desk and I ran out without it. But I absolutely adore the League of Women Voters. You do such a tremendous job, and you take the weight off of other people because you do all the research. And you don't tell people how to vote. You don't tell people how to think. You just give them the information. And that is another thing that makes you so powerful, because I believe that what you put out has the capacity to touch people from different political spectrums. Now, I think those who lean left probably love the league a little more. However, we will not discriminate against our right-leaning sisters and brothers. You know, little love, little love. I have to tell this joke because Lee and my wonderful manager that manages my schedule and my life and tells me where to go, Stephanie, I got to give her a shout out in her absence, but I know that Nancy and Lee, and I think it was one other person, they were really trying to find me, and it was Linda, okay, and it was becoming a little difficult. They should have just called you Marsha. But so Lee did something that was a little below the belt, ladies. I just want you to know. And she called my brother. Because her and my brother used to work together, and it was the darndest thing to have my brother, who I don't even think knew a whole lot about the league, a very intelligent young man, but he said, the League of Women Voters are trying to reach you. My friend Lee called me. You need to call them back. So I'm going to tease Lee for that. And she by any means necessary. So, but we have so much work, and League of Women Voters, you have so much work to do. And I know in particular the concern about bringing in more diversity in terms of ethnic diversity and age diversity. Because that was, I remember Marsha telling me that even when I spoke at Shaker, but the fact that you are cognizant of that need puts you light years ahead of so many other organizations who don't even get that they need to do those things. So man, I just got to give it up to me. You know that you need to do that because our diversity is our strength. And it's not just about, because I call folks are seasoned, and if all of us live long enough, we will get seasoned too.
I like that.
It's not about seasoned folks sitting down, but it is about if you want your organization or your institution to thrive generationally or to thrive beyond your physical existence, then that means we got to bring young people in. That's just a fact of life. And so I shared some recommendations with Lee that I think the league can do and should do to be able to tap a younger generation, and also to bring in more women of color, because we really do need to do that. Our diversity is our strength. So Lee, I know that redistricting, we have 2018 elections coming up, and I can't wait to read what the league writes as you do every single time. But 2018 is pivotal. Now we can't skip 2017 though to get to 2018. I am a big believer that every single election cycle is important. That while we get caught up in the national, what senator on the federal level, what member of the House of Representatives, but people who run for school board, people who run for mayor, people who run for township trustee, they kind of get left out of television when those seats, those council seats, the government that is closest to us is really the most important. So I always say there is no such thing as an off-year election. Every election year we got to be on and popping. Every election year. In a representative democracy, you don't get to take a break. So we have to take the whole term off-year election out of our vocabulary, period. Because when we say off-year election, what we are saying to ourselves psychologically, think about this, is that the only elections that count are the ones where the president runs. The only election that counts is when a federal senator is running. The only election that counts is when you're voting for a member of Congress. Psychologically, it says to us as Americans, period, that we can kind of take it easy. We can be off, if you will, on non-presidential election years. And we've been programmed generation after generation, and it is starting to stick. So it is no wonder we have lower voter turnout when it comes to local elections and regional elections. And so we have to stop doing that. And League of Women Voters, I am depending on you to put something on that website that says there's no such thing as an off-year election. Every single election year, we got to own and pop it. You got to add that own and pop it. Because we got to make voting exciting.
We can do it.
And I know you will. And people are bombarded with so much information. It's just hard to keep up. You feel that way now. I know I feel that way. First, I could answer an email faster than a call, and then I said, Dr. McCrath said I could answer a text message faster than an email, and now I need something else because of all of those things. And so people need information in small, if you can't explain it in 60 to 120 seconds, you're lost, folks. And especially the millennial generation, and Generation Z, forget about it, because they were born with Twitter 140 characters. You got to be able to speak the vernacular of the generation that we are trying to attract, but also I really do believe as human beings, our tolerance for lots of information all at once is shrinking just because we are being programmed that way too. So we got to be able to communicate that 30-second, 60-second, 2-minute video sound clip. That is how you're going to get people's attention from millennials all the way to seasoned folks. But so 2018 is vitally important because those who win the state level elections in 2018 will be the people who draw the lines. Redistricting. No, I mean, we get a win. I'm just saying, we gotta win. We being conscious-minded folks who believe that citizens should elect their politicians, and politicians should select the people who are gonna vote for them. Redistricting is out of control. And it's not that the Democrats are pure in that, because whoever has the pen, they manipulate the system for their team. But what has happened, though, in the 21st century, and what our Republican sisters and brothers have had the benefit of more than Democrats have because of the onset of technology, is that you can laser focus your partisanship to such a way, so scientifically done. A generation ago, 2 generations ago, that was not the case. It was all pretty much done by hand, and you didn't get a chance to manipulate it with such laser accuracy. But what has that done to our republic? We have ultra partisans running in every single, even here in Ohio, right? We have 12 seats that are guaranteed for one side and 4, but guaranteed though. So even if you're on the side with the 4, I want you to think about what I just said. Those 4 seats are guaranteed to that team. So your vote does not count. On the other side, the other team got a few more, well, more than a few more. But every seat is guaranteed. So nobody has to compete for our votes. I'm just, being one, and I call myself in the elected ministry, because I do believe that it is a ministry. I firmly believe to my core that anybody who runs for office ought to care about the people they are running to serve. And the power belongs to the people, but somehow, because of all of this TV, the 24-hour news cycle, some elected officials feel as though they are entitled to these seats. Even people who we support, even people who we love. Every election cycle, the person running for office, I don't care if they've been there for 40 years, they have an obligation to earn your vote. Earn it. Earn it. And that is what we have to bring back. And you know what? The millennials, they get it. The gig is up. The jig is up. They get it. They showed very clearly in 2016 that they were looking for authenticity. And 2016 really was an anti-establishment spirit running through this country that we have to tap into, because people are really tired of broken promises. I don't know how many of you just saw the recent ABC poll that showed that people are disappointed in our current president, no surprise there. People are disappointed in the Republicans in Congress, and people are more disappointed. You might be shocked to know this. People are more disappointed with the Democrats. Hear me clearly. Go look it up. The ABC post-poll shows that the Democrats have a worse favorability rating than the current president and the current Republicans. What does that say to us? None of them are sitting well. None of them. No, people just don't feel like they're out of touch with their needs. So we need organizations. It just makes organizations like the League that much more important. As you are having those conversations with people and you don't have any skin in the game, the only thing you're looking for is good government. The only thing you're looking for is to educate people. People need more honest brokers like this organization so that they can sift through the nonsense. But if we don't do something soon, and then collectively between redistricting and also citizens uniting, we are spiraling out of control as a nation when it comes to, are we really a republic of the people, by the people, and for the people? Or are we a republic for sale? Are we a democracy for sale? Does more money give you more speech, more access? And both parties do it. Both parties do it. So we got to shake things up, League, and you have to continue your mission. I'm so glad you were given this mission to shake it up. Just give people the honest truth. Let the chips fall where they may. And hopefully we will get more people running for office from all backgrounds. Another concern I have about the political parties is that when you look at the seats of power, most of those people are wealthy. Now, there's nothing wrong with wealthy folks. I want a wealthy friend too. Sister, I'm trying to get my Oprah powers too. So listen, everybody needs a good wealthy person on their side. Don't get me wrong. And there are many wealthy people who do very good things with their money. I'm trying not to be so, in my rhetoric as you kind of grow and you kind of change. I'm not here to paint all wealthy people as bad, because all of them are not bad. But this is the point. We need everyday citizens, but we also need people with enormous amounts of wealth to come out and say,
in this country that is out of control because more money should never, ever, ever give you more speech and a representative democracy, but that is what is happening. And even when we vote for candidates, think about it. Think about the candidates that we vote for. If you look at their portfolio of money, all of them have lots of money. What is that saying? That everyday people like us that come from backgrounds like many of us don't have a snowball's chance in hell because you don't have the money to compete. And it is unseemly. Now state house races cost millions and millions of dollars. So we have a problem with redistricting, and we have a problem with too much big money coming from one donor or two. I mean, the Koch brothers spent almost $1 billion, one family. What does that say? That they understand very clearly. Well, anyway, and they're not the only ones. There's some on the left too that do the same thing. So that's why we need to leave. So three things I want to leave, and I'm not going to do my grandma's 3 bones as I usually do. I think that the darkness that we feel, or some people feel, because everybody's not feeling dark, and I don't want people to feel dark every single day, because we've been here before as a nation. We've been in dark places as a nation. Some of us were not born during some of those darkest times, but we've been here. So as a historian, I remind you that we have been here before. We've been in situations where the only people at the table were wealthy white men. We've been in situations where Native Americans lost their land, their livelihood, and even still are treated like third-class citizens in this country. We've been in situations where African Americans were treated as 3/5 of a human being and treated as chattel. We've been in those situations. We've been in situations where Dr. Alice Paul had to chain herself to the White House gates. We've been in situations where women did not have the right to vote. We've been in situations where women did not have a right to have a safe, legal, rare, I always say rare because I don't think most people are pro-abortion, we're just pro-choice. We just want women to have that choice. We've been in situations in this country where our gay, lesbian, transgender sisters and brothers could not marry who they love. So we've been in dark places in this country. But guess what? The thing about this nation, we didn't necessarily start off the right way. No, we didn't start off the right way. Let's tell the truth about history. But we have been a nation of progress. That has been our marker. But we find ourselves right now in this moment kind of questioning whether or not we can say we are a nation of progress. And that is true. Because the days that some of my Democratic friends wish that President Reagan was in the office right now. You know what I mean? Some people are saying, bring W back, bring President Bush Jr. back, bring him back, you know? So that's saying something. That means, because it just means that it's all relative. But I submit to you that the darkness that some of us feel is not a tomb, it's a womb. Rebirth is happening. Rebirth is happening. I use that as a symbol to make my next point, that any woman who has ever birthed a child in the world, and you're in that room and you're mad as hell at your husband, or your significant other, and in that moment though, the doctor says to you, push and breathe, right? In your agony and in your pain, the doctor is saying, push and breathe. Push and breathe. Push and breathe. Rebirth is happening. What are you saying? I am saying that even in our agony right now over people who are elected to office who want to cut programs that hurt the poor, even in our agony to have elected leaders on both sides of the aisle who couldn't get it together enough to come up with a humane immigration reform, even in our moments of agony where the Voting Rights Act was gutted, I'm saying all we got to do is push it. Rebirth is happening. My second point, we got to protest and we have to plan. And that's where the lead comes in. Now people out there protesting. I love a good protest, baby. But we can't protest our way out of this situation. Somebody got to be there to plan. And the lead is on that planning side. You get the data together, you get the facts together, you get the information together so that people can use that information to make the changes in their communities that they need. Some people have to protest because we do need those outside pushers, but we need other people who are going to plan. So we got to protest and we have to plan. Because we do need to electorally elect leaders to office who will actually use the power of the people to advance humanity, not just in our country, but in our world. That is a necessity. I think the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said it best. He said, what affects one directly affects us all indirectly. We can't fool ourselves. And we are a smaller world than ever before, again, because of technological advancements. So we must push and breathe. We must protest and plan. And my last P is perseverance. We get some instant results, but some things take generational change. All of the greatest changes in this country's history that shook this country to its foundation in terms of moving it forward, those things did not happen overnight. They did not happen overnight. So we have to persevere. I remember the Reverend Dr. Otis Moss saying to me when I was so distraught when I was running for Secretary of State in 2014, and he said with the voice of God, anybody who knows Reverend Dr. Otis Moss, he said, Senator, the struggle is forever. So we are forever in the struggle. That means that generationally, each generation is charged with advancing social justice for the next. It reminds me of the 440 relay race. In high school, I used to run track, not many years ago. And that was the first leg of the 440 relay. So you know what that means. That means the sister was fast. But my task was to get the lead. The first leg of the race, their task is to get the lead. The second leg's task is to maintain that lead and advance the lead. The third leg of the race, their job is to maintain the lead that the second leg got and to advance that lead. And sisters and brothers, here comes the fourth leg of the race, and their job is to maintain the lead, advance the lead, and cross the finish line. That is what we have to do generationally, is maintain, advance, and get to the finish line for ourselves and for generations yet unborn. And the League of Women Voters, you hold a very significant place in the advancement of humanity through the political process by getting people the information that they need so that they can be informed voters, so they can be informed advocates, so they can be informed humanitarians. I do believe in the power of citizen leadership. That this is not about top down, but this is about the bottom up. Because every great change in this nation and in this world have come from those quiet, still voices, untitled voices of everyday people putting a little extra on their ordinary so that extraordinary things can happen. Titles are good, but purpose is better. God bless you, Lee. It's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah, no, we have to do that. The legislature, when I was there, we worked on the state lines.
Right.
Thank God, we made
Yeah,
them
we got that.
better.
Yeah.
But I say that, with a smart aleck. But we, my sisters and brothers in the majority, did not want to work on the congressional redrawing of the
Yeah, well,
But I'm so glad that we did.
And you know the league has been working on it for 30 years.
Talk about maintaining the push and breathe, right?
We have been involved in this fight since the 1970s. We have over there.
like to ask questions.
Okay. Since we're talking about redistricting, let's just point out that we will have in the mingle and eat and drink session after this a sign-up table for redistricting. We hope to have ballots available at the state convention, May 5. Petitions available at the state convention between May 5 and 7. And we will have training for speakers, because as you get people to sign the petitions, that's your chance to give a quick 30-second spiel as to why this is important and why they should support it. and the training will help you. So please, afterwards, go to the redistricting table, follow that little sign back there in the corner, and sign up to work on the petition.
Susan, you might point out that we'll have a training sessions here in the greater Cleveland area too, the one on the west side and one on the east side, on May 13th.
And I presume the details will be at the redistricting campaign table, is that correct?
It's on our website, and I expect we'll probably have petitions there at that time too. Oh.
Okay, Linda.
I don't want to let Nina get away before we say something about how we appreciate what you did to push county government.
Amen,
forward.
yes.
And whatever else you have done in government, running, losing, winning, whatever, that's what sticks in our hearts forever. Would you like to say, we kind of were the birth mothers, we were birth mothers,
I know.
you were a birth mother. Say something to us about, are you happy the way county government is working out basically?
Yeah, I'm really proud. That was a very hard time for me, so thank you for
Was it a
bringing.
good thing we all did together?
Yeah, it was. It was hell for me though. I was the only prominent African American elected leader to stand up for it. And I got beat up by Democrats and by prominent leaders
Yeah,
in the
you got
African
in
American
trouble. That
community.
wasn't safe
I did.
for you.
It was hard. I mean, I had people threaten my Senate seat. You know the things that people do.
Yeah.
And this wasn't Republicans weren't threatening my seat. It was Democrats and African American leaders, not African American citizens, African American prominent leaders, and also the Democratic Party. But let me tell you something. I won in 2010 with flying colors. I tend to do what I believe is right. I'm a Mother Jones kind of girl and a Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm kind of girl, unbossed. And as Mother Jones once said, I'll pray for the dead and fight like hell for the living. That is how I roll. But many of you may remember I was Aunt Jemima by the Black newspaper the day before Thanksgiving, at top of the fold. Right, a caricature, and then the words coming out of my mouth in Ebonics, and you can look it up right now. If you guys take out your smartphone, you look up Nina Turner, Aunt Jemima, you'll see. But the words coming out of my mouth, I be the new leader, and I'll never forget my husband was mad as hell. Wanted to hurt some people about that. But it was hard. It was very hard. But that was one of the most important things I've ever done in my political career. And if I had to do all over again, knowing all the hell that I caught, I would do it again. And it really caused this county to come together. And I had Republicans call me. Senator George Vornovich called me. I would never forget his phone call to me. As long as I live, he called me to lift me and to say what happened to me was wrong. I had Republicans, I had independents, I had all kinds of people who probably didn't even know who I really was call me to say thank you for your courage, and now I'm really voting for it because they did that to you. Yeah. But sometimes in politics we can go too far. I think you should do everything to win, but not anything to win. And politicians are humans, they have families, and they have people who love them. We should be soft on the issue, soft on people, but hard on issues. I mean, if you really believe in something, you gotta go hard. But you don't have to tear people down. I am very proud of what I have seen from county reform thus far. Is it a perfect system? Nothing ever is that we create, but it has opened up opportunities for African Americans that they never would have had on the county level in terms of running and winning seats. It brought county government closer to the people, and we get to weigh in more. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made morally, and it turned out, Aunt Jemima or not, the voters of Cuyahoga County sided with the sister, and we voted for it overwhelmingly. So.
We're having this meeting tonight because we really want you to join or consider joining the League of Women Voters Cleveland chapter. Cleveland is the heart of Greater Cleveland. And we have a membership table, and there will be a sign up there for people who are willing to come to another subsequent, just as much fun meeting
They're all like this.
at a time to be determined by anybody who signs up and says she or he wants to come to this meeting in order to work on that. There's a lot of work that we need to do. not only in Cleveland, but in Cleveland. And of course, it's usually done by a chapter, and that's why we really want to revitalize this Cleveland chapter. And we have sign-up tables for that too, and I see they took them away.
Putting them, she's distributing.
One table asks you to observe the Cleveland City Council. Nobody does that anymore. Bay Village City Council gets observed. Baker Council gets observed. Cleveland City Council doesn't get observed because we don't have people to do it. And we all know that local press isn't what it used to be in the days of the Cleveland press. If we don't do it, if we don't have those independent eyes on City Council, and then we'll post the report on our website afterwards, nobody's going to really know, have an unbiased vision of what's going on. There are other things in Cleveland we really ought to be observing also. My favorite crusade is I really would like somebody to come out and monitor the, the consent decree between the police department and the Department of Justice. We don't have anybody to do that. An important thing to say at this point in time is you don't have to be a member of the League of Women Voters to do these jobs. So if you know anybody who wants to do any of this stuff, it's on the website. Have them contact us. We've got phone numbers and email. There's stuff that needs to be done. We also have a table back there for sign-ups for people who work with voter service. Voter service is absolutely crucial. We're going to have a contested mayoral election in Cleveland. As last I counted, I think it was 13 out of 16 of the wards were going to be contested in Cleveland this year. For every contested election, there ought to be forums so that people can hear their representatives say why they deserve to be elected. Every candidate ought to be forced to answer to Marsha Goldberg at Vote 411 so that people can put in their address and see what their candidates have to say for themselves. All these things need work. So if you like doing that kind of stuff, go down and sign. If you know people who might want to do this kind of stuff, send them to our website. We have a volunteer here, a little click spot where you can go and volunteer for voter service. Lee, probably you can contact Lee. The Cleveland chapter has a spot on the website, and you don't have to be. We want you to be a member because we want you forever, but you don't have to be a member. We will accept volunteers wherever we can get them.